As Northern California's most prominent and busiest airport, San Francisco International Airport, or SFO, is a gateway from the Bay Area to the world. The airport is one of the few worldwide with two sets of parallel intersecting runways and boasts wonderful terminal and ramp views. Few other airports offer consistently visible parallel approaches and departures all day long, a fantastic perk for plane spotters as San Francisco is one of the largest international gateways in the United States. A testament to this is Lufthansa's decision to choose SFO as one of the debut destinations for its new Allegris cabin product. Accordingly, SFO deserves its own video that addresses the airport from a pilot's perspective. With observations and experiences shared by Simple Flying contributor and commercial pilot Jack Hurston, here are some insights and tidbits into the operational experience at San Francisco International. One of the biggest differences between SFO and other large airports is the volume of simultaneous close parallel traffic that operates into and out of the airport. Furthermore, it seems like SFO handles more crossing traffic than other airports because of its cross-shaped midfield runway intersection points. San Francisco can, at times, seem like a fast-paced symphony of parallel landings and departures, simply because of just how well controllers take advantage of the minimum allowable space and time between operations. The normal and preferred traffic flow at SFO uses runways 1 left/right for quote-unquote light departures, while runways 28 left/right are used for semi-staggered parallel landings. Runway 28 left is used for performance-limited departures, especially during the afternoon and evening international departure window when more wide-body planes need the added runway length to take off. The distance between runway centerlines at SFO is a mere 750 feet. The FAA standard for simultaneous parallel operations is actually much larger than this, but SFO has an exception that allows for staggered parallel arrivals and simultaneous departures. ATC will line up 2 planes on runways 1 left/right while traffic lands on the crossing runways downfield. The aircraft on 1 left is flying Seagull 1 or Still 5 RNAV departure, which requires a left turn at 520 feet. The plane on 1 right will be flying the Truckin 2 departure, which features a right turn at 520. If given back-to-back takeoff clearances, the 2 departures climb together for the first few seconds before making their diverging turns at 520 feet. It's a pretty cool sight on the ground or in one of the planes. Airlines have operational notes for pilots regarding the proximity of the runways at SFO. Specifically, some airlines require that pilots operate their transponders in a slightly altered mode. Visual or VMC days allow controllers to space planes closer together than on days with instrument meteorological conditions or IMC. When visual approaches to both runways 28 left/right are in use, pilots switch their transponders to a mode that only alerts them to a TA or traffic advisory. This prevents the transponder from issuing an RA or resolution advisory, which regularly happens due to the proximity of planes approaching runways 28 left/right at SFO. If pilots didn't do this, the TCAS system might issue a breakout instruction to pilots, maintaining visual separation with the parallel traffic. Despite this, TCAS RAs are still relatively common at SFO. The result is a go-around followed by another approach. An interesting wrinkle unique to SFO's procedures is the inclusion of wine, varietal, and cultural references for names. San Francisco is about 50 miles south of some of the most acclaimed wine regions in the US, such as Napa, Santa Rosa, and Sonoma. In deference to this, a few arrivals and departures have waypoint names that reflect the region. For example, the Bodega 4 and Stella 4 arrivals have waypoints named Malbec, Merlot, Cabernet, Moscato. The procedures have other wine references, such as legs and cork. In addition to the wine references, other procedures feature surf references in homage to the multiple surf breaks around the San Francisco area. Pilots arriving at SFO from Southern California flight corridors are often given clearance to descend via the Surfer 4 or Waves 2 arrivals. The waypoint names on these procedures include Waves, Stoked, Gnarly, Epic, Wipeout. On another musical note, a few more procedures have waypoint names that pay tribute to San Francisco musicians. The Santana 2 departure is named after guitarist Carlos Santana, who grew up and formed his band in San Francisco. The departure also has the waypoints Grateful and Deadhead in recognition of the band The Grateful Dead, which formed in Palo Alto just a few miles south of SFO. Moving on, taxi times in San Francisco vary widely depending on the time of day and which runway a flight will depart from. Arrivals tend to have short taxi times. After clearing the runways, SFO has a semicircular taxiway design around its terminal structure, which allows planes to move simultaneously clockwise and counterclockwise. The only restriction on taxi-in times is if the alleyway is blocked by an aircraft that has just been pushed back. In comparison, taxi-out times can be lengthy if a flight has to taxi from the northwest side of the terminal area to runway 28 left/right. This requires crossing 1 left/right and queuing in line behind primarily heavy departures, which requires more spacing. Additionally, flights departing 28 left/right have to wait for 1 left/right departures, while also requiring spacing between arrivals to 28 left/right. It's common to spend more than 20 minutes on taxiway Foxtrot short of 28 left, waiting for an opportunity to depart. Approach controllers have the difficult task of spacing arrivals to allow for 28 left/right departures between landings. This, combined with parallel takeoffs from the northern runways, makes controlling SFO a unique challenge. As we've mentioned several times, the most distinguishing feature at SFO is the daily use of 2 sets of parallel runways. Only a few other large airports in the US, such as Boston, Detroit, and Chicago Midway, have sets of parallel runways intersecting other sets of parallel runways. San Francisco is alone in its dependence on all 4 runways for daily standard operations. This makes controlling at SFO a unique challenge and avails countless plane spotting opportunities that feature close parallel operations. The cherry on top is the beautiful view of the San Francisco Bay and adjacent mountains in the background. What is your experience of flying in and out of San Francisco International Airport? Have you ever gone plane spotting here? Let us know by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.